Welcome to the Higher Self Habits podcast, where astrology meets behavioral psychology. Join me, your host, Angela Xavier, and together let's dive into all things astrology, how to align your mindset with your birth chart, and so much more. My intention with this podcast is to inspire you with strategies, tools, and teachings that you need to consistently get after your goals with flow and ease. Your higher self is already doing so. And after all, you are what you repeatedly do. I am so happy to have you here with me, so thank you so much for being here. Now let's begin. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Higher Self Habits podcast. I hope you're having a lovely and productive day wherever you are. In this episode, I'm going to get into what being spiritual means to me. My intention with this podcast is to leave you feeling inspired to truly embrace your own spiritual journey, to feel empowered by it, and so revved up to achieve whatever you put your mind to and whatever your heart desires. To start things off, I want to share my personal perspective of life. I've shared this briefly in the first episode, What Are Higher Self Habits? But I want to give it another space to shine here today. And that is this perspective that life is just a game, that this whole experience we're having is gameplay. Our main character in this game, who we are, and the front and center consciousness we have to get what we want, is an energy, okay? A very old energy, passed down through generation after generation and shaped into how it is expressed today within you. Now, believing that this perspective is a fact is the first way to be spiritual because believing that is the same as believing everything in life is an energy. If we are an energy, every single thing is energy. And this, if you're not aware, has been proven by science that everything, every atom of carbon, to the smallest we can analyze it, is just energy. Electrons and protons are only energy at the end of the day. Pretty freaking cool. So believing that first and really leaning into the perspective of life from that lens is the first way to be spiritual. And it is the most potent form for our day-to-day existence, having this perspective. Because whether we can sense it with our five senses or not, whatever it is we're focusing on, whatever it is on our mind that day, it doesn't matter if it's in our 3D reality. Being spiritual is still giving it credit for being there, because at the end of the day, everything is energy first, not necessarily in a 3D version. This is the reason why humans primarily detect body language before words are spoken, right? Or how you know gifts are genuinely from the heart when you receive them, or when you know your friend is feeling a certain way through just a text message. The frequencies of energy that we are directly connected to are everywhere, and we don't physically see them. Like, I can go off right now, but to keep this point short, think of Wi-Fi. Think of how much of our lives depends on the internet. We are globally connected through something we physically can't see. Or radio stations. You're turning a little knob in your car, but you're connecting to all of these different frequencies. Quite literally, a frequency, right? There's so much at play here when we look at the world as energy. We pick up on these nuances because it is the energy that we are reading. We are primarily in this energetic space, okay? Now, this game of life we play starts with us forgetting this. And how we play this game to win this game is to unravel with lesson after lesson this remembering that we truly are energy. This journey of becoming who we are underneath it all, underneath all of this 3D programming that we've been believed to believe things about ourselves. Remembering that we're energy, we're a soul, we are a spirit. And most importantly, on a mission. Everything that you desire is your mission. You came into this life with these desires embedded within you. And that is why when you truly want something, it is genuinely already yours, because you aren't just given a desire willy-nilly. I don't know why I say willy-nilly. Like, you aren't just dished these amazing ideas that you genuinely feel lit up by to have in your life. Like, it's why some people love certain things that other people hate, why some people are just born artists and others are born mathematicians. We all have our gifts and we all have these embedded desires that on an energetic level, we are here to explore as a mission to unravel who we truly are. So the mission, being your desires, is the point of each level in this game. You're here to unlock, you're here to achieve what you desire. And your purpose, which is another huge theme when it comes to spirituality, right? Your purpose is the path that you follow, this innate direction you have that leads you toward what it is on your mission. I find the concept of purpose can get really out into the ethers and so difficult to attain for people, and it is so essential for fulfillment and overall well-being. But to really come back to what purpose is, like something that's efficient, something with a direct means to an end, right? In other words, your purpose being your path of your mission is the whole reason why you're on it. You're innately already on your path to your mission. The purpose of being on this path is to achieve your mission. And what really sunk this in when I first channeled this perspective of purpose was when I had this evolutionary moment a few years ago where I truly tapped into the belief that it is better to live your life on purpose than spending it searching for one. It's already in you, right? You're already in the direction for your mission. It's not something 3D that you're just going to magically obtain one day. You don't search for the path you're already on. And a part of this mission is to remember that, to release the conditioning that has told you that only what you see in the five senses is real, that you have to go to the fancy schools to obtain your purpose, as if it's found in a document you get to hang on your wall. You know what I mean? Being spiritual really makes more sense of things, but it's scary and it's difficult to understand because a lot of the time we can't physically see it. So this gameplay is to release the conditioning that has told you that what only you sense in the five senses, the 3D, is real. To release the conditioning that what is happening now means something about who you are. To release this conditioning to react to what is happening as this person you have been in the past, from pain and fear. To dive into this awareness of how little awareness you have about yourself. And to choose to be someone different. To be the student of who you are. To become this person, someone different, by responding, by connecting to what they would do next, and having the balls to actually do it, to feel through the pain and discomfort of no longer avoiding the feelings of taking this unknown direction on purpose, right? To feel incredibly empowered to win the levels of this game, level after level of playing the game of remembering who you are by proving to yourself what you can do. Because to be honest, the feelings of avoiding this fear of launching into the unknown is way worse than actually doing it. to prove to yourself what you can do 100 million times the payout of what it's worth to face the feelings you've been avoiding for so long. And that's why this game is difficult, because you have to constantly be working at getting your head and your heart on the same page. In other words, having your conscious and your unconscious on the same page. Now, I want to switch it up a little bit here now and get into some symbolism of what it means to be spiritual. Because you know me, I love getting to symbolisms, meanings, root words. So, in symbolism's version of being spiritual, I want to talk about the Trinity symbol. And there are many ancient cultures and religions that have the Trinity symbol. But what I want to talk about here in this episode is the Trinity of the mind, body, and soul. When it comes to intentionally manifesting what you desire, it is crucial to apply the be, do, have model. Okay? If you aren't aware of the be, do, have model, it is the sequence of essentially how all things come into existence. You must first be the person who does the things to have what you want. In other words, you can't just say, I want $1 million. You'd only be focusing on the have. You've skipped through the sequence of the be, do, have model. You have to first be the millionaire by doing what a millionaire does to then earn the $1 million. Right? Makes sense. Well, coming back to this mind, body, soul trinity, applying the be, do, have model perspective, this is another way to explain what being spiritual means. The mind-body connection is how you be. Understanding and applying your mind-body connection is how you intentionally manifest. And if you are a spiritual girly, my easy guess is you are manifesting, right? Being spiritual is to get honed in on how to manifest. The mind is your conscious, and the body is your unconscious. Okay? You must have them on the same page to be in the doing mode of the be, do, have model, on autopilot. To genuinely be this person without trying is to have your conscious and your unconscious on the same page, to have your mind and your body in unison. To make the actions you consciously want, the good habits you desire to have, right? So embedded in your unconscious that you are creating the life you want on autopilot, aka higher self habits. Shameless plug there for my message. But let's carry on. As legendary Joe Dispenza says, your habits are when your body becomes the mind. In other words, you have genuinely embedded the belief that you are the person, you are being this person, with those habits that your body innately does without your conscious effort. The mind is your thoughts and the body is your feelings. Because, of course, in your mind, you can analyze, you can think about what you're feeling or what caused that feeling, but it's the body that actually feels it. In traditional cognitive behavioral therapy, the framework used is this sequence that your thought leads to your feelings, and your feelings lead to your behavior. So essentially, who you are being, your thoughts and your feelings, your mind-body connection, right, determines what you do and therefore what you manifest. So what you are thinking and what you are feeling is who you are being. Your mind and your body are who you are being. Whether you're aware of this or not, you are still always manifesting in this sequence because you are never not thinking and feeling, right? Now I can hear you saying, okay, Angela, but what does this have to do with the Trinity symbol? Like, where did we go from here? Are you ready for a deep dive into my deep thoughts? Because I love you guys. I love this podcast so much because it gives me this space to share with you. And I know you genuinely, I just see you on the other side of this table right now, sharing your perspective back. And yeah, I just want to go off, and I can't wait to share this perspective. The Trinity symbol, all in all, represents a birth. 2 parents and 1 child. Who you are being, what you are doing, births and creates the life that you have. The mind and body create this life force energy, this thing with a spirit all the time, right? If thoughts and feelings innately behave and create, then we are employing our mind and body to create a spirit all the time. Manifesting doesn't shut off, whether we are conscious of it or not. I'm saying the same thing in many different ways here. For example, the discomfort of starting the business you've always been dreaming out and putting yourself out there on Instagram, you are giving it an energy. You're giving it a story. And this story, this energy was created from your mind and body. What you think about this business, what you think it will mean about you when you're online on Instagram, how you feel about this, how it's genuinely feeling in your body. Are you excited? Are you nervous about it? This is the only thing that's creating it, right? It's giving it this face, it's giving it this soul. And this is why you can feel the energy of the person behind the screen. If they're not fully connected to what they're sharing, or like genuinely aren't interested, they're just showing up because they have to, or there's this feeling of fear underneath it, this lack mindset when they're trying to launch something. It is through the screen because it's on an energetic expression that we pick up on. It's making it into an existence. And it didn't exist before this. Before you had this thought or feeling to do it, it wasn't there. But now it is. It's an energy that your thoughts and your feelings create. Or you finally do create this dream business, the conscious effort and the unconscious identifying yourself as someone successful and on Instagram, right? Your mind decided to go all in and your body believed that you could. What you have created is a business with its own energy, its own soul, its own spirit, its own impact on others, your customers, your followers, and whatever other ways it serves who you sell. It's this whole new thing with a life of its own. To the point where when people really scale their business, they don't even need to be a part of it. It just runs itself, right? Obviously with employees and automatic mechanics happening behind the scene, but you created a soul. You created an energy. Think also of where in our avatar meat suit of human bodies the mind and body are located. Referring to the chakras here, as this podcast is titled Being Spiritual, we're going to talk about chakras now. The energy is extremely different when you focus on the expressions of the third eye chakra in comparison to the heart chakra. The mind and body energetically know their roles. Now, what I find fascinating is where they connect. Again, where the mind and body birth and create, right? Where they come together. The chakra between the heart chakra in our body and our third eye chakra in our mind is the throat chakra, where the mind-body connection connects is in our throat. The way I read this, my perspective of this, is being spiritual is to express yourself. The throat chakra has everything to do with voicing, right? To put words, to make sense, to communicate what your heart is saying. That's, funneled from every chakra and the rest of your body, how you feel. And what your mind is saying, the consciousness, the awareness you have. Where those meet is your throat to communicate it to the world, to be spiritual, to birth the soul into existence, the energy. Your new habits that genuinely improve your life start in your mind and body, but must be expressed by saying and telling, I am this person with this habit, to yourself, to others, by speaking with authority in your new online business to help people so they trust you and you can be the expert that they need, by sharing and inspiring in your relationships what's on your heart to clear the air or to really just be there and hold that compassionate space for them. It all comes back to the expression through your throat chakra. I like to see it also as unhitching this latch of being seen, sharing your thoughts, and doing things that feel scary is the way to be spiritual. The process, your story, working through the debilitating thoughts and emotions and expressing it all how your higher self would, communicating it how your higher self would, choosing on purpose what your higher self would. And the thing is, the only way out of this conditioning in this spiritual journey is through. You have to go through this process. Sahara Rose, a legendary spiritual thought leader, if you don't follow her, go do it. She's awesome. She says, before you get into your bad bitch era, you got to go through your sad bitch era. The only way out is through, essentially. And the only way through is within. What this all rounds out to is being spiritual is understanding the power you have when you employ and cultivate your mind-body connection to create. Being, again, is to think and feel, as it is the piece of the manifestation model that leads into doing and having. When your mind and body are on the same page, when your thoughts and feelings, your conscious and unconscious are on the same page, this is where the magic happens. To think through your feelings and analyze where they're coming from and detach from the ones that aren't serving you in any way. To sink into the feelings of what you desire, what it will feel like to finally have it. To sit in the moments that feel so freaking good. And to do it from a logical place, a part of this gameplay, right? Feeling into what feels good for as long as you can is a strategy to feel more of it. This again is happening all the time. We are creating from our thoughts and feelings all the time. Being spiritual is to believe in your power to create exactly what you want from it. Being spiritual is to intentionally create what you desire, to tap into this mechanic of thinking and feeling that is happening anyway. At the end of the day, we are human beings, yes, but a more honest way to put it is that we are spirit being human. We are birthed as a soul first, with a mind and body, so we're able to play this wild 3D game of life in whatever way we desire, or whatever way we are conditioned to do so. So I invite you to make it count, to be spiritual and make something of this round of your game, of your life. That way you don't have to come back and learn the same lessons over again, right? Deal with it in this round, learn from it, and move on and up to the next level. That's what we're here to do. That is all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please leave a review as it greatly impacts the podcast. And that way I know what you are enjoying and can create more of it. So with that being said, thank you very much for spending time with me today. I appreciate your listening more than you know. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.